were an addict, incarcerated, homeless. Why should anyone listen to you?
Prison had become a blessing to me. I was safe. I wasn't running. There wasn't that much affection, so I'm cool.
How does a ninth grader start using something like methamphetamine? How's that happen? So we pass by people every day that we assume will never change. Our guest today is one of those until she wasn't. So you were an addict, incarcerated, homeless, broke, you lost everything. Why should anyone listen to you?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? I would assume that you would want to listen to someone that has been there rather than someone who hasn't.
Yeah, that's true. Beautiful answer. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Tell me, so let's backtrack a little bit. Addict, incarcerated, homeless, broke, lost everything.
Yes.
That's a story. Where does that start? Tell me a little bit about your journey.
To be honest, I have really good parents. I have really, really good parents. I have a family,
Yeah.
really family oriented. But what I battled with most was people approval and always having to be the best in the family. I was a track and field star, cheerleader from the age of 2, so I was always in the limelight.
Yeah.
Yet in reality, instead of having dinner at the table, I would, ask my mother, "Can you just bring me my plate?" It's kind of hard to get out of the limelight, but sometimes it's destined for a reason.
Yeah.
hmm
Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and I was raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I grew up in the penitentiary.
In the penitentiary?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were incarcerated from a young age?
Yes, I was incarcerated I just turned 19.
Damn.
And I didn't get out until I was 33.
Wow. Okay. So doing my math, 13 years?
Yeah, 12 years, 9 months. I just rounded up.
Straight.
Yes, straight. I did not leave.
Okay. So how did that happen?
The first addiction that I dealt with that I realized incarcerated was people approval. I always needed the approval of others.
Yeah.
I didn't know it at the time, but I've learned that about myself. And still today I have to check myself. I left really, really early, even from my mother's house at 18. And believe it or not, I used to take in runaways when I was 18 years old. And I figured, you know what, they're running away.
Yeah.
They might as well come to me. I'm safe.
Wow.
And
At 18, you were just taking in runaways?
my first runaway, his name was Sonny.
Sonny.
Wow.
And what was the reason?
To be honest, my mother told me ever since I was little, I had a heart for homeless. And even to the point where I would tell my mom, give them $1, give them some money.
Yeah.
One time she gave them $100 on accident, and she looked in her rearview mirror and she said, "Why is that lady jumping up and down?"
Wow.
And she had to explain to me, I remember it like yesterday, "Elise, I have to go back and get that money. I gave her 100 instead of $1.
Whew.
So
Yeah.
from a very young age, I have my heart is to serve homeless.
Yeah. You talked about this addiction
hmm
for like approval.
Yes.
That's not an addiction that like most people talk about.
Right.
Like how did you come to find that out about yourself?
Well, that's where my addiction started. I have an addictive personality.
Okay.
And the addiction is the disease. The addictive personality is the disease.
Yeah.
For me, no matter what the drug is.
Yeah.
And when I used to take in the runaways, I shared with them specifically, you have to go to school. But on the flip side, I was giving them dope to sell, guns to hold, And I said, well, no, I don't care what you do. Just make sure you go to school.
Yeah.
And instead of my runaway, his name was Sonny, going out, I said, you know what? Just bring him to here.
Yeah.
But I was naive. I was gullible.
Yeah. 18.
I was 18.
Yeah.
And I had no clue what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the first manifestation of your addiction was this like need for approval, and then maybe over time that progressed into
Drugs.
other drugs. Okay.
Drugs, sex.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I started using methamphetamine in the 9th grade. I remember it to this day.
Wow.
I remember who I was with. I remember where I was going, you know, to this day.
People, I imagine people would say, like, how does a ninth grader start using something like methamphetamine?
Mm-hmm.
How's that happen?
Hanging out with older people, to be honest.
Yeah.
The people that I was using with were in the 11th grade, 12th grade,
Yeah.
friends of the family, older friends of the family.
Mm.
You know, I used to run track and field under the influence of methamphetamine. And
Wow.
I would, my heart would be beating so fast. I'm like, I'm gonna pass out.
Yeah. Thinking I have a heart attack.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
kept thinking that, you know, I wasn't taking it to be faster running. I was taking it to stay under the weight limit.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Okay, so that was kinda like you were using it for a reason.
Oh yeah, to me it was a reason.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Wow, ninth grade.
Mhm.
So then how did that progress? And then where does the incarceration, like, what happened there?
Yeah,
Was that drug related?
I believe it was drug related. If you read the article, it would say something completely different.
Okay.
It would say drug related, but it wasn't for that cause.
Okay.
Um, I was under the influence of methamphetamine. I was supposed to be there that night that my boss got murdered. I was
Oh,
working at
shit.
Applebee's, and I had got suspended from work for 2 weeks. But that's not something you share. I didn't share that with anybody. I would have been there that night had I not been suspended, and I was suspended for poor attitude. I
Wow.
was a cheerleader, walk on my toes,
Yeah.
pretty, you know, can't tell me nothing, attitude,
Yeah.
horrible attitude. And but thank God, because if I didn't have that attitude, I'd have been there that night.
Wow.
And I seen it on the news with the rest of the world. I was in my home.
Oh, wow.
First, I had met, you know, Sonny did finally bring some kids over, some older adults, and they were doing in the windows, you know, and they were like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
B, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
You know, let's rob Applebee's,
Yeah.
you know, and I didn't think anything of it. I conversed with them. I was like, oh, yeah, with me across the street with the walkie talkie.
Yeah.
I didn't think
Just
nothing
kinda like
about it.
talking shit. Yeah.
Felony robbery rule. That's what happened.
Damn.
So from that moment on, I didn't notice that, um, you know, I didn't notice at all, you know, what was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know that those individuals actually went and robbed my job when I was supposed to be there
Mm.
and murdered my boss in the process.
Jeez.
So I took off running. I left the apartment. I left everything in it, and I took off running. I got pregnant, made sure I was 3 months pregnant, and I just had a guilty conscience. Why? Because I was ignorant.
Yeah.
I was supposed to start the police force 2 weeks prior to that incident.
Wow. So your whole life changed
Completely.
in an instant,
Mhm.
you know? So you were gonna join the police force, and the next thing you know, you're on the run for some stuff that you found yourself involved in with some capacity, and it's like, wow, life spiraled quick.
Really fast.
Yeah. And then
Really
you got
fast.
pregnant at the time.
Yeah, I planned my pregnancy.
You planned it.
I did because when I got arrested, well, let me back up a little bit. When I found out about the murder, I took off running.
Yeah.
In my mind, guilt. I wasn't there. I didn't know who did it,
Yeah.
but I didn't care. I took off running. I was under the influence, so on and
Right.
so forth. Um, After that, I ran for 9 months, and I knew I was the only employee from Applebee's that did not give a statement or anything. So it didn't look good.
Right.
So I would hear in the streets, "Hey, Elise, they're looking for you." They would harass my mother at her job. She ended up moving back to St. Louis, Missouri. They harassed my brother at his job. They harassed my family.
Yeah.
And one day after I made sure I was pregnant, I'm the only girl from my mom and dad. I finally got tired and I told my grandmother, "Can I move in with you?" She let me.
Yeah.
And when they finally harassed my brother the last time, I told him, "You know what? Tell him where I am. I'm done. I'm tired of running." I hadn't spoken to the police about anything.
Yeah.
And when they came to my mother's house, I put my hands behind my back and went to jail.
And that led to a 13-year
Yeah.
prison sentence.
Yeah. I went. Yeah, it did.
Talk to me about how devastating that was. Being so young,
Right.
having these ideas of what your life would look like, these goals and aspirations, as we all do when we're young. And then next thing you know, the next decade plus of your life is gonna be behind bars. Like, how demoralizing that must have felt.
To be honest, in the beginning, I didn't think that I was gonna be there that long. I thought, okay, I get arrested, I get out.
Right.
But once I couldn't give them a name,
Yeah.
you know, I could not give them a name. I was charged with murder, robbery, burglary, and conspiracy with the weapon enhancement.
Wow.
And it didn't sit well with me from day one because if I was there, then I may have been able to give you a name,
Right.
but I wasn't. And they didn't understand that. I have no co-defendants.
Yeah.
The people who actually committed this crime has never spent a day in jail for this,
Oof.
right? I was convicted from the felony robbery rule,
Yeah.
which is if you and I are conversing, you state that you want to go and
Right.
rob something. If I'm talking with you about this, even though I'm not there, I'm just as guilty as a person who pulled the trigger.
Right.
That's the law in Nevada.
Yeah.
And so when I went in, a lot of the older ladies, they call them OGs, right?
Oh, geez.
I was sitting there now. I knew God from the age of 11, and filled with the Holy Spirit. So when I first got in, I seek God immediately.
Mm.
I mean, immediately. People would look at me and they say, "Oh, youngster, you don't know what just hit you, huh?" And I'm like, just still smiling, looking at myself on the news.
Yeah.
But what they didn't know was who I had in my corner, you know? And I sat there and it took a long time for me to understand, you know, what was going on. I was pregnant. I can't think of not one time I was pregnant that I was hungry.
Mm.
Not one time. Prison had become a blessing to me. Jail had
Yeah.
become a blessing to me. I was safe.
Yeah.
I wasn't running.
Yeah.
There wasn't that much affection, so I'm cool,
Yeah.
right? I have a lot of things I was battling with, and those closed walls was joy for me.
It was a safe place.
Mhm. It
Wow.
was.
Wow.
It was really safe for me.
So fast forward 13 years,
Mhm.
you're a different person by the time you come out of prison. But, what we know about prison, and I've been a couple times, is that that system's not designed or built to really treat any problems that somebody might have. You know, you can come to find some things on your own, but the system isn't set up really to be like, oh, you have, some trauma. Let's dive into that. And so by the time you get released, hopefully you'll be in a better place. But so coming out of prison, what was that like for you?
I'm gonna be honest. I want to touch something real quick because yes, the system ultimately through the eyes of the community, someone who's never been inside, and how you would want to perceive things, CPS system,
Yeah.
prison system,
Yeah.
mental health, M1 lockdown,
Yeah.
psych ward system. Um, I have to be honest here. It's set up for success,
Yeah.
yet it's up to the person incarcerated or in the hospitals to see that. So my thing is those individuals who come in from the streets, give programs, give church, give hope. If it wasn't for them,
Yeah.
then it'd be a different story.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to, the lights come on at 6. They want you to make your bed. Now you can lay back in your bed if you want to,
Right.
or you can go to some groups.
Get up and do something.
Yeah, and do something.
Yeah.
I left prison with $17,000. I had a prison industry job.
Wow.
I made the best out of it. I done some rehabilitation. I've done some classes. And,
Yeah.
you know, I went to college, and those college credits I'm using today. They got transferred over. So
That's amazing.
you know,
Yeah, they say there's a difference between doing time and having time to you.
absolutely.
You know, and I think that if you're ever incarcerated, anyone like you know, there's a huge difference,
Yeah.
and you could see it in people who come out. So you come out with a totally different life. You know,
Right.
what
So to
happens
answer
next?
your question,
Yeah.
uh, the most traumatic experience for me was affection.
Okay.
Right? Inside, you can't hug, you can't kiss, you can't do anything. Everybody, don't touch or you're gonna get a write-up, right?
Right.
So for me, it was the transition from affection, family wanting to love on you and all that. Me and COVID-19 were best friends. 6 feet, that's cool, good,
Yeah.
stay away.
Yeah, you got used to it.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, I didn't even realize COVID-19 was going on. I was probably the only person out on the street.
Wow.
It didn't bother me.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
good. It didn't matter
Yeah.
to
Keep your
me.
distance.
Please.
Yeah, I'm good with.
You know, and no one in the stores, if they were open, perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like the crowds anyway.
Which is
You
an
know?
interesting perspective because when we started this conversation, you talked about this addiction for the need of approval, right? And then now you're kind of on the other side being like, you know what, actually,
Right.
keep your distance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took a while for me to be able to accept affection. Even still to today, I don't really have that much of. I show it differently.
Yeah.
I show it differently. You know.
So, addict, incarcerated, homeless. How, how'd we get there?
You know, being how I got home, how I was homeless. I So inside, I was thinking to myself, you know, I need to get some type of something under my belt to where I can't get rejected from work.
Right.
So I got a cosmetology license, hair
Yeah.
braiding license. I got a CDL, commercial driver license.
Yeah.
Those two traits, I can go anywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
and be able to get work, find work, or build work.
Yep.
Right? I didn't have to worry about rejection. So
Smart.
when I got my CDL in Reno, Nevada, there was a job offer in Aspen. I uprooted me, my ex-husband at the time, and my children, and I was pregnant again.
Yeah.
My oldest started college in Hawaii, and I had 2 littles, and on my 4th one pregnant. And I got a job in Aspen, driving their buses,
Yeah.
and I caught a case. I found
Damn.
my ex-husband cheating, and I fought the girl and beat her down.
Whew.
Yeah.
So,
And the closest homeless shelter was Homeward Bound Family Shelter.
wow. So things are going well in life. You have this job opportunity in Aspen, which is
Making good money.
pretty nice. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a long way from Reno.
Right.
Right. And then once again, though, things fall apart and you end up catching another case.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not believe in postpartum to that day. I had just delivered my daughter C-section 2 weeks prior. I was 2 weeks from a C-section, and I don't think I could have stopped myself if I wanted to.
Really?
Not at all. But you couldn't tell me postpartum was a thing either.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, whatever, it's for the week.
Yeah. So you didn't
Postpartum is
believe
just
in
an
it, but you
excuse.
felt it.
Well, I didn't believe in it until then.
Really?
Absolutely.
And how did that manifest? Like, what was that like? Just depressed and hopeless and
It was like if you had blinders on,
yeah,
that's what that's like. You see one thing and that's it,
yeah.
and
Wow.
I never really would have thought that I would not be able to see, on the sides of me or what's coming, or it was straight blinders. There's nothing that could have
Wow.
stopped me.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Wow, that's that's something that obviously I will never experience, but I know it's something that a lot of women, a lot of mothers
Mhm.
experience. So thanks for sharing about that. So you end up at Homeward Bound here in Grand Junction.
Mhm.
Like, what was the turning point? Like, when did things start to change for you in your life?
Well, I got a divorce, for
Okay.
one. I was in an
All right.
abusive
Yeah.
domestic violence marriage,
Oof.
3 years, and 3 days when I got to Homeward Bound, CPS thought that they were gonna come and take my children from me, and all I could think of, please forgive my language, is wrong bitch. I've already had one not taken from me, but I gave
Yeah.
to my mother so I could go do this time,
Yeah.
and now I've just had another baby. 3 days after coming to Grand Junction, CPS came in, thought they were gonna take my children, and like I've shared before, I have one of the, if not the fastest closing cases in Mason County
Mm.
to today, and from there on, that was my turning point. I went running. Drug addiction came to a halt, and I had blinders on for my children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to lose.
Well, and it seems like that fear or thought of losing your children was like the thing that
Mhm.
kind of made it all come together for you, where you're like,
Right.
no, actually, fuck that.
Right.
Like that's not on my watch.
Right.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Right. I honestly took I women like that, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to categorize people, but I didn't wanna be that woman
Yeah.
that lost her kids. To me, I talk about women like that. At the time, that's how my mind frame was.
Right. Right.
I talk about women like that. I don't wanna be that,
Yeah.
and that was my turning point.
Wow. And that was enough.
Yeah, that was enough. That was more than enough. Now, advocacy is my thing.
Right.
I did do advocacy in prison, but to see it transform out of prison
Yeah.
is lovely,
Yeah.
right? So, um, from there on, I got my kids back,
Yeah.
got a divorce,
Yeah.
single mother, back in college, running my own business,
Yeah.
and now I'm an advocate.
With this newfound purpose in
Absolutely.
life,
Yeah,
which is beautiful.
thank you.
And how did you get into becoming an advocate?
Okay, so I advocated for myself at first.
Right.
I see some holes inside of the homeless shelter, and I become the first guest to become a case manager
Wow.
first,
Wow.
so that I can make a difference.
Yeah.
Right? I got out of the homeless situation, became a case manager, and start volunteering, start being available, start being of service.
Yeah.
All of the things that I went through. If I did not have a village,
Mm.
none of it would be possible to go through it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing here, being homeless and seeing individuals after I got out of being homeless, working at the homeless shelter, still seeing families that were there when I was there, was like, come on, there's something missing.
Right.
It's advocacy.
Yeah.
It's the middleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where you felt called to be of service.
Yes, that's my purpose. Yes.
That's amazing. And so how long ago was that?
I 4 years,
4
three,
years.
3.5 years,
So for the last
4 years, almost
3 to 4 years,
Mhm.
that's been your mission.
Mhm.
And what has that looked like in your life?
Oh, it's almost surreal,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like, I still haven't grasped the concept of what is going on here.
Yeah.
I just wake up, like, we were speaking earlier about being on the outside looking in. I'm in the end, so I don't really see what's
Yeah.
going on outside. But, You know, I wake up every morning and I ask, how can I be of service to you, Lord?
Mm.
You know, and I go. I volunteered for over a year and a half, and then I, believe it or not, I have 2 contracts with the state of Colorado Legal Defense Council,
Damn.
which I
Okay.
never thought would be a
Okay.
possibility,
Right, yeah.
right?
Man,
I now get to go see my clients who are incarcerated. I'm on the other side of the wall.
how amazing that is.
The first time when I went in Glenwood Springs,
Yeah,
I, put my briefcase in and
yeah.
put my phone in where the lawyers do, and I heard the keys of
Mhm.
the CO was coming,
Yeah.
and he was rambling, and I just heard the keys, and as soon as he opened the door, I dropped everything.
Yep. Yeah, that's so funny. I started I started working in detention centers,
Mhm.
several years ago, providing services inside to jails, and I started working with the county jail where I had previously been incarcerated, and I remember in the tour, they were giving me the tour of everything my first day,
Right.
and I remember walking down one of the corridors, and I'm following the line on the ground,
Right, right, right.
and then, the lady that was giving me a tour kind of looked into another office to say something to someone, and 2 CEOs walked around the corner, and they looked at me, and for a second,
Hit the wall.
no, I'm with her."
Right.
And they were like, "What?" I was like, "No, I'm with her." They're like, "That's okay." Like, "What?" I was so like, "Oh, yeah, like,
Trauma.
I'm on the other side now,"
Yeah.
and what like a beautiful experience. I remember the first time meeting with somebody who was incarcerated and being like, "Damn, like, I used to be on the other side of this table."
Right.
And I remember in my experience, someone sitting on this side of the table being
Mhm.
like, "Hey, if you can just get your shit together, man, and do these things, like, you could be here someday." And at the time, sitting in the orange,
Right.
being like, "That'll never happen."
Right.
And now I'm in a similar position, being able to like, "Damn, like,
It's awesome.
pinch me. Is this real?
Right, right,
Is this real?
right.
Like, I get to do this?"
Like, what?
And it sounds like that's you feel the same way.
Same way, every
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Every time I go in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm
now you're helping people,
yes.
right? Like, really from the trenches
Yeah.
and now to, like, the front line of
Mhm.
advocating for others. Tell me a little bit about the work that you're doing right now.
So, I got 2 contracts, like I stated, with the Office of the Alternate Defense Counsel. Headquarters are in Denver,
Okay.
and, it took me a year to fill out the application because I didn't really think that it was real.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
now
imagine.
I
Yeah.
work on criminal defense teams of individuals in Colorado, the whole
Mhm.
state of Colorado. I usually service on the western slope,
Right.
so anything on the Front Range is it's off limits because I want it to be off limits, plus there's other resource advocates or
Over there.
over there,
Yeah.
so, what I do is lawyers reach out to me and they say, "Are you able to take this case?" And I say I look for conflicts, and I say, "Yes." And now I am a part of that individual who has criminal charges in the state of Colorado's legal defense team.
Yeah.
It's a holistic model, yeah.
Wow.
So, and I walk them through it,
Yeah.
you know. If they're incarcerated, I go in.
Yep.
If they're not and they're out, I meet up. I walk alongside of them. I learned very early on, client led,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I ran faster than a lot of them.
Right.
Because I have a lot of hope.
Right.
I know you could do this
Of course.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Is do you want this?
Yeah.
And I have some success stories, and then I have some not so much.
Mm.
And that's okay because when they come back around again, I pray I'm in a
You'll be there.
position to be there again.
Yeah.
And let's try again.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
It really is like a testament to the transformation of recovery.
Yeah.
Like, talk about that, your journey in recovery.
So I am abstinence from all drugs. Weed, speed, methazine. People
Yeah.
like, what's methazine? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just all things.
I don't do it.
I don't do it. I
Yeah.
don't do it.
I don't know, but I don't do
I
it.
don't do it.
Yeah.
And I make sure I still hit my meetings.
Yeah.
I keep a sponsor. I keep a recovery coach.
Mm.
I keep a village,
Yeah.
mentors. Um, I used to think about it all the time, and now I'm thinking like, I can't. I don't care how big I get. I'm going to the gym. I got other tools in my box.
Right.
I don't have to use methamphetamine for any reason.
Right.
I don't have to use marijuana for any reason.
No, you don't.
You know, I don't have to alter my state of mind with substance for any reason.
Yeah.
You know, today I'm clear-headed.
Yeah.
You know, but it takes work.
Mm.
You know, I surround myself with individuals who aren't using, you know, unless they're my clients,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You know, and just being that hope keeps me clean.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to be that bitch.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that approval addiction has turned around,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. I can hear that.
It's turned around for the good.
And now it's a
It's a
positive.
positive. You shoot me any negative, and I can guarantee you I'll find the positive out of it.
What a blessing.
Try me.
What a blessing. That's amazing.
Thank you.
What an incredible story.
Thank you.
And the work that you're doing today is phenomenal. Like I'm just so happy that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. Yes. It's an honor
Well,
to be here.
I thank you so much. And I just want to kind of come back to that question that we started this with. So you are an addict, you are incarcerated, you are homeless, you were broke, and you had lost everything. Why should people listen to you?
Why not?
Uh,
Why not?
Why not? Love that. Thank you for joining today. And thank you guys for listening. Look, hard truths, real conversations, and sparks of possibility from a world that's a little broken-ish.
Right.
Like, comment, subscribe. Check her out everywhere she is. Thank you. Tune in. Come back. And have a good day.
Thank you.
Peace.